we're talking about how we can be happy in a relationship. That's a big topic, and I'm just going to focus on a few key components that I think can be relatable to everybody. I think there is this big misconception that if you're in an intimate relationship, then you just should be happy. I think in the beginning, as most people have heard about, is like the honeymoon stage. And so you are just sort of blissfully happy and you're getting a lot of dopamine and pumping in your brain. And so it's making you feel that way. And then as we get to know somebody months and months more in, we see each other's faults, conflicts arise, and it becomes more real, and it also can be more challenging. So communication is everything. I think everybody can agree that that is challenging, and it also has such a broad meaning too. So in thinking of communication, again, I'm just going to hit some highlights. It's important to be open, to be honest. And then the biggest piece, I think, is the active listening. So it's one thing that you yourself can say I statements and focus on how you feel and focus on non-blaming language. It's another to have the person that's talking to you actively listen, validate what they're saying, and not just wait for your turn to talk. Really try to take it in. Sometimes what I tell couples, and I tell individual clients too, is to, when you're actively listening, to repeat what the other person said in your own words and to clarify, did I get that right? It slows things down. It can be a little bit annoying, but in the long run, way better outcomes. And then another piece of communication is how you have effective conflict resolution. I just listed a few ways that you can have effective conflict resolution. A few more are if things get really heated, taking a break. If either of you feel too emotional and that maybe you can't hear what the other person's going to say, or you're going to say something you regret. Some more conflict resolution ideas are the non-blaming piece. I think that's huge. And I think also really trying to remember and thinking that your partner has good intentions. And I think that can be really hard when we're upset with somebody. And even if we're not upset with somebody, we're having a good time and they say something. And if we don't think they have good intentions, we take it the wrong way. So that's a big piece. Another way to maintain some happiness in a relationship is to maintain some independence. So it's natural in a romantic, intimate relationship to be a little bit codependent. And I think we hear codependent and we're like, oh my God, I don't want to be codependent. I'm not codependent. And it gets kind of a bad rap. But the reality is, Dr. Susan Johnson, who's one of the leading couples therapists, she does emotion focused therapy. She's amazing. And one of the things she talks about is a healthy codependence. And so what does that look like? And how does that also having some independence as well? So it's a balancing act. And so, it's having interests in common, doing those interests together, activities, whatever that is, and having interests on your own, having maybe relationships, friendships that are together with your partner, and then also having those individual relationships too. So maintaining a sense of self is another way to maintain some independence, meaning that your ideas are still your ideas. You may be influenced by somebody, and that can be hopefully a great thing. You're positively influenced by them in a healthy way, but still sort of remembering who you are and your values are. Another tip is practicing appreciation and gratitude. It's really easy on the day-to-day to just go through the day. You're busy with work, you're busy maybe with kids, you're busy with friends, you're just busy. We're all busy. And we forget to appreciate our partner, be grateful for who they are. And it's can be as simple as saying thank you, but it can also be even more of saying like, oh, I really appreciate that you picked up the groceries today, or thank you so much for washing the dishes tonight. That really meant a lot to me. Then I could sit and zone out in front of the TV for a few minutes. That was really helpful. So these small gestures can be huge acknowledgments. And it's also positively reinforcing for the other person that what you did helped them, and that makes them feel good. So actually, they're more likely to do it again. So that's great. That can be really helpful. Next is fostering intimacy and connection. So, ways to do that over time, such as having date nights or shared activities, having new experiences together. And I think sometimes we have to plan those things because, again, busyness gets in the way. And so, doing those things and remembering to have physical touch, and if, especially if that's important to you or your partner. And so whether that's initiating it or maybe your partner initiating and taking turns there too. Another one is handling challenges together. So you're really thinking of this as you're a team. And if you can do things as a team, it's usually a lot easier than having to do things all on your own. So the importance of having that support and then the empathy during those tough times. So, in saying all of this, some of the highlights are communication. Communication is key. Some more things about communication that I didn't mention are we all come from different family systems and sometimes different cultures. And even if you are from the same cultural background, it doesn't mean it's exactly the same as how your family communicated or expressed love or affection or any of those things. So learning about that from your partner, of what their needs are, and them hopefully learning from you too, and then trying to see to meet somewhere in the middle there. Um, doing effort with each other, of that practicing of that gratitude and appreciation, having respect for one another is huge, and just really trying to encourage each other to, it's going to sound cheesy, but to just be the better person. And whether that's be a better person just in life and in the day to day, or to be a better person in sort of like when there's conflict that arises. And so, how can you sort of grow from those experiences?